So, how did we meet, Liz?
We are in a secret women's organization together that's national. And that's how we met. There was a accountability. There was an opportunity to have an accountability partner, and then we were
Mm-hmm.
set because of our very similar goals,
Mm-hmm.
and you've achieved some goals that I'm looking to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
not just a goal, some goals that I'm looking to achieve, and I've achieved some goals that you're looking to achieve. And so
Yeah.
they decided that would be a great match, and they were like spot on, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel it was one of the cool things that I got, like meeting women at a certain level.
Yeah,
Like it
like-minded.
filters people,
Yeah, I love it.
like-minded black women who are open to seeing the
Becoming
world in
your
different
best
ways.
self. Yeah, seeing the world in a different place, like
Yeah.
developing like pride in a way where it's like we look in the mirror and go, yeah, I deserve good things. Not pride in a way where we look down on anyone, but we can look in the mirror, which Africans,
Hmm.
we kind of have that already, right? Culturally, we're supposed to have that, but like we can look in the mirror and be like, I deserve good things, and I'm gonna go for them, and I'm not gonna feel guilty, about
Interesting. Okay.
having good love, beautiful
Yeah.
family, healthy relationships, seeing the world, achieving my dreams,
Mm-hmm.
being unapologetic, without being rude or mean or anything like that. That's
Yeah.
how I kind of see it. I love it. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And cool. So that's our intro. Perfect.
Prior to that, I just didn't really meet guys because as an elementary educator, I was, you know, for 15 years, I've been in education and like getting higher education. And I just was not really running into, I would say, I just didn't run into my guy, and I made the decision right before my 37th birthday last year that I was going to do the online dating thing. I was like, you know what? He's online. I'm going to find him, I'm going to be like, hey, and I met a lot of, really great people, and I met some interesting people. And I've had some, great experiences and some really interesting experiences, but I just didn't find my guy. Like I'm very selective when it comes to values, what the things that I value, and wanting to see eye to eye with the person that I'm going to be with, and romance. I'm very big on romance, and that was very hard to find like a genuine, authentic, romantic person, like a romantic guy. And I mean, from what I deem as romantic, And so that's super important to me. And I kind of came out of it empty handed, but not in a bad way. Like I kind of put the online dating thing to rest at the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been meeting some nice men in real life because now I've transitioned into a realtor, but because I'm in this transition,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard because there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to focus on. So that's been cool, but I also think that the people that I've met in person are not my guy either.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Because there's different sorts of people that you would meet in different career fields, and in the field that you're in, real estate. Um, yeah, I bet you meet a lot of like. How's the gender balance in real estate?
I think it's pretty good because I still work with women. I work
Okay.
with, on a wonderful team, and it's all an all woman team, but we meet a lot of people. There's a lot that goes into it, like having like, you have lenders and you go to trainings and you go to things that, I'm experiencing things that I never really experienced in the education field. There's a lot that's similar as well when it comes to learning,
Mm-hmm.
and like professional development. Sorry, I don't know why I have like the hiccups, but um yeah, I think it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
You're meeting a lot of, people who are interested in buying or people who are interested in selling. You're
Mm,
meeting a different dynamic of adults. So I'm really enjoying it for
that's
sure.
true.
Mhm.
Actually, when you mentioned that, um, people in, I guess, like when you're trying to sell a house,
Mhm.
especially where you are in LA,
Mhm.
um, they're going to be wealthy people, and then some of them will be single, wealthy men, right?
Right? Yeah. So
Versus in education, which has like very few men who are single and are teachers.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But so real estate for me, what I'm really trying to do is one of my biggest focus is like to get millennials into homes, because I feel like
Mm,
we've been very like not just misinformed, we haven't been informed really at all on obtaining generational wealth, passing down generational wealth, obtaining it for ourselves and then passing it down. We're a generation where our parents are more successful than we are,
mm-hmm.
when it comes to finances and owning homes. And a lot of us are still receiving the same income or like slightly more income that our parents,
Yeah.
like I know my income is like, was is when I was an educator, double of what my parents were making at the time when they were, not double, but more than what my parents were making when they were purchasing homes. But the homes that are like,
Oh.
the housing is crazy in California, but there's a lot out there, and there are techniques that we can use to get in. I think we have to think as millennials. We have to be critical thinkers and get our foot
Mm-hmm.
in the door.
Get our
And
foot in the
so I
door.
want to help millennials get their foot in the door and then learn about like building equity and then taking money out and taking it forward and taking it to the next one, because I think a lot of the people that are buying homes right now are not just wealthy people. They're
Mm-hmm.
people who kind of know how to play the game when it comes to owning and knowing about equity and refinancing and
Oh.
updating spaces and Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I bought my house, let's see, 3 years ago,
Mhm.
or actually more than, so 5 years ago. But that was because like I was able to buy it because of help from my brother,
Mhm.
with the down payment, and then I had a good stable job and had good credit,
Yeah.
and like the interest rate was not as high it is now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'm sure the market, like it must be interesting because of it now, um, but yeah, it's a bit tougher. Like my partner usually mentions how we're pretty lucky, both him and I, because we both had a chance to buy a house, like, and we had time and help from family.
Hmm.
But his peers, his friends, they've always been renting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I actually got my first experience when I bought my first house in 2017. And that's when I was like, "Oh, this is the process. Oh, this is how it works. Oh, this is." And then upon selling that home, I learned a lot too about like equity and how much money you get back and things like that and what you can do with that money. So, after that,
Mm,
it did take a while to finally transition and to finally fully follow through with wanting to get into real estate, but here I am in 2023.
mm.
Yay, as a realtor.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and you were able to transition to be a realtor in like how much time?
Less than 6 months.
Oh, okay.
I
And
quit my I quit my teaching job
mm,
and literally was just like I mean, I was still doing other things. Like I was, still dating and
Mm-hmm.
taking care of myself and hanging out with friends and still being able to travel with my sisters, who are my absolute best friends in the world. And, but I spent a lot of that time just really learning. Like I love learning. I love education, but I love it for myself too. Like I love
Yeah.
learning new things, and literally within 6 months, um, and I knew I wanted to take in everything, which is why I let go of my job. You don't necessarily have to, but I knew I wanted to fully immerse myself into this new career field. And luckily,
Yeah.
like I had enough money saved, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's true. You can do it while you have another job, but it has to be a specific kind that
Mm-hmm.
allows you to travel and like, because you have to respond to clients right away, right? Like, and they would text you any time of day, and you can't do that as an educator.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually learning about time blocking though.
Mm-hmm. Oh
So
yeah,
my
that's
teacher's
smart.
teaching me
That's
about
smart.
time blocking, but yeah, I really am very into being the realtor that I would have wanted.
Mm.
I'm really big on, I want to sit down and educate my clients and talk to them about like, this is what the process looks like. This is how, what pre-approval process looks like. I'd like to walk them through. So
Mhm.
I'm still able to educate, but I'm able to do it in a way where, because I kind of feel like our generation has kind of been overlooked when it comes to that. And I really want the millennial generation to know that it's still possible. Like I want us to be the generation of people who, when we say, I want better for my children, no
Mhm.
offense to the generation before us, but we actually act on it. We don't just say it.
Hmm.
You know,
What do you
and
mean?
I don't think it's too late for us. I think there's a lack of real knowledge out there on where to even start if you even do want a home as a Southern California resident.
Hmm.
Like that's where I come in.
Yeah, that's an interesting statement you made about like our parents' generation. They said they wanted better for us, but they did not put in the like. What do you mean by that?
Our parents, the generation above us, they're more successful than we are. They have bigger net worths than we have. They have bigger like comforts than we have. I feel like we are like a microwave generation. So we're our parents, I believe, as well. But we have parents. I know a lot of people who have parents that own property and they don't own property, or they have to wait to like inherit the property. They just feel like it's totally impossible for them to do what their parents were able to do, because even though they're more successful financially, we have higher rates, right? We have higher home
Yeah.
prices. You get the cost and reward.
Mhm.
They're two different things. Like it's tougher to get the reward for the work you put in than it was for our parents. And then we're also a generation that's not really, I don't think we're shown a lot of grace.
Mm.
Um, I think we've been called a lot of things like entitled. I remember I graduated in 2008 with my bachelor's degree. And then in 2010, I got my teaching credential, and there were no jobs. And there was this like idea that like we were entitled to even expect that just because we had gone to school and that the job would just fall in our lap. But I remember that time, it was very difficult. It was very difficult. Like we were grinding, and I think what's come from it now is because there's things like our mental health is being affected.
Mhm.
We are now we're being solution oriented. So we're like self-care. And so now we're the spoiled generation again who cares more about avocado toast and self-care. But it's like, yeah, because um you can't have a job, you can't be a manager at Ralph's and afford a house in a safe neighborhood. You can't even be an educator, you know,
Mm.
for a certain school district and afford a
Yeah.
home of your own. You can't even be, I mean, I know principals, teachers, principals,
Oh.
um, nurses that
Mm.
are still renting,
Yeah.
you know. Um, So we kind of have to be that generation of like critical thinkers
Mm.
that's going to go, okay, so it didn't come as easy, and we're also not being shown a lot of grace. That self-care comes from, we're going to show ourselves grace.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to come in and we're going to educate ourselves where it matters. You know, we're going to wake up to some of the tales that we've been told, because it's not really manifesting like it was supposed to. And, you know, we're going to kind of open that, not kind of, but actually open that door for ourselves. So that's, for me, that's my thought process where this switch came in into moving into real estate, you know, because that's one of the biggest things that a lot of millennials need right now. And they don't believe that they can have. So
That's true. Yeah. It's almost like a pipe dream. Because on top of the market being unfair, jobs not meeting up to inflation or like the cost of living, there's also student loans, and just like I don't know if I would say people shouldn't get Ivy League education or like, you know, like useless degrees
yeah.
per se, but I don't know, like there are some degrees that are harder to get a job in unless you come from a well connected family. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a degree in international studies, and
Yeah.
that's a very broad degree. And then I don't know, like maybe I should have taken a BA or a BS in computer science, and then I'll be like working in Silicon Valley or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know though. Who knows? But
I think
yeah.
I agree with you. I think also is I don't think that our generation was not a generation that was taught to really value our individual creativity.
Hmm.
I'm right there with you. I got a sociology degree for
Okay.
my bachelor's. And that's a whole other story, is in how I was even able to go and get that, because I had parents that were, you know, have parents that they're still, very strong. I love them, but they were very adamant about, who and what they wanted us to be and what success looked like for us, and what they wanted success to be for us. But if I had my own choice, if I could go back, I would have wanted to do creative writing,
Okay.
which is still kind of like a nonsense degree, right? But but yeah.
Do you feel like it's our job as like older like aunties or parents to advise the younger generation on like, okay, maybe you should double major in different, like major in something that you love and then major in something that's like more meaningful, or like not meaningful, sorry, something where they can get a lot of money for their time and tuition, like so they're not like a starving artist. um,
Um, no. I think we need to teach the younger generation how to make money in how you would go about making money with whatever it is that you're passionate about, right? Because money doesn't equate happiness. It doesn't equate fulfillment. I think we do need to show the generation coming after us the type of grace that that we may not have been showed, that we may not have been shown.
yeah.
They're gonna be like, she was an educator. There's a lot going on in here right now. So let's not call them entitled. Let's not call them spoiled. Let's not call them a microwave, want it quick generation. Let's teach them, at least those who are willing to learn, those who are curious, because I feel like I was one of those people. And I was kind of like generalized as like entitled, right? I think it's important for us to show them grace and to show them that first we got to teach them to value things like art. I feel like arts are not being valued anymore, right? The arts, writing, literature, individual creativity. We want to teach them to value that again. We want to teach them that their dreams are, as cliche as it sounds, can come true, that anything is possible. We want to teach them how to be resourceful. And if this is what you want to do, how can you be resourceful? How can we get you there? Educate them in business, because a lot of times if you do want to make money doing something creative, you're going to need to know the business side of it too. I think where we lie to the generation after us is when we say college is the only answer, because if you don't know, it's not for everybody. It's not necessary for everybody for success. And I know that's a horrible thing to say as a former educator, but educator, but it's true. It's very true. It's not, it's important. I loved college. I wouldn't take that back. You know, I wouldn't take going and getting my bachelor's degree, my teaching credential, my master's degree. I wouldn't take that back. It was a great experience. But I think we're lying when we say it's for everyone and everybody has to do it, especially when it's not free.
That's true.
You know,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
not,
if
it's not free. I'm not going to preach and say that it should be free. I'm just saying it's not. And not everyone can afford to do that. And not everybody necessarily needs it to be successful. But I think there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to, and it's becoming more and more like that. Like college is the gate to get into.
Yeah.
You know?
There are some jobs where you need a degree in anything. They just want you to have a degree in order to be employed by, I don't know, like government jobs or private industry. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's private industry that's more flexible than public jobs, as far as like not requiring college, like full 4 years degree. But oh, is that cat like the one that doesn't like being
No.
fed? Okay.
Oh.
I was like,
no, that's
cool.
He's around here somewhere.
Cool. Anyway, sorry. Good conversation about real estate and the millennial generation. But let's see. I guess circling back
Dating.
to dating.
Yeah.
Like as far as dating in California in general. I don't know if it's different, like different parts of California for Black women. What are your experiences dating men? Because you're into men.
Yeah. um, it has been so interesting. Like I said, I've met a lot of really interesting people, I would say. I definitely met men that I probably wouldn't have met in real life, like, you know, out and about or whatever. I think that was a great experience. It taught me more about what I want and what I don't want, what's okay and what's not okay. And then it also kind of, I think I did a good job because I don't have as bad of horror stories as a lot that I've heard about online dating. So I think I did a good job, but I think it again, it taught me like, what is it that I want? What is a deal breaker for me? And yeah, so I would just say, you know, my experience, I don't know if I said it earlier. I don't feel like my person I don't even feel like I even like bumped into my guy via doing that. I think I met some, you know, really great people, but it just wasn't, and you know, they probably agree, it just wasn't I'm really big on marrying the person that I feel values the same things as me. Like I value romance. I value clear communication, transparency, vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
I value integrity. I value authenticity. And yeah, everybody was authentic in their own way, but it was almost like entering like this country or this like field that I just
Mm.
wasn't well versed in. And I ended up taking, so I started in July of last year with online dating,
Okay.
and right before my birthday, and then I stopped February of this year. Um,
Hmm.
and
Half a
it,
year, right?
job. It was like having another job. I met a lot of people in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was very overwhelming.
Okay.
You know? I would try to keep, clear communication, like with people as much as I could. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I'm someone who also, I like my solitude at times. So I would, shut down and need my space and be overwhelmed at times. And
Oh, okay.
so it can be a lot because in my mind, when I thought about it, I was like, it's going to be this fun thing. And I'm just going to be, meeting all kinds of people until me and my guy, we run into each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not I'm not great at that. Like I'm not great at like
Mm.
continuously meeting people in a romantic realm.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't something that was like easy for me to navigate. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like people that um I met were probably better at it than me. They were kind of used to it, they
Mm-hmm.
found
They
their
have more
footing.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just an assumption. Like I don't know 100%,
Mm-hmm.
but I am more comfortable with like the meeting in real life. Since I've stopped, I've met people in real life, and that's
Okay.
been easier. It's been easier for me to just be like, okay, yeah, this isn't my person either, but I like that natural, organic experience of just kind of meeting people in the real world, especially because I have this huge fear that like um if I met him online, like
Mm.
that might be the world that he's used to. And I don't want to be used to that world. I want to be used to this world. You know,
Interesting.
it's like, I mean,
Okay.
I know a lot of people who've met their guys online, but they met them like 10 years ago, or they met, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's different. It was different.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of got into it at I guess not a great time for me. I don't know. I don't know how to
Oh,
explain
okay.
it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I'm a big proponent of online dating. Because, like, remember I used to be like, just keep at it, and
Yeah.
you're like, you're
I might
exhausted.
I might go back. I might go back. I don't want to badmouth it. It wasn't terrible. I
Mm-hmm.
think but I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think it's for like some of my great like you're an example. I have great friends who have just met amazing guys online,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for me. I think maybe
Mm.
it's just maybe even just kind of the stigma that I have from it. I didn't have a terrible experience,
Mm-hmm.
I met really cool, you know. I don't have as many, horror stories as I've
Yeah.
heard, but
Yeah.
part of it just felt like it just wasn't working for me.
So you mentioned that you appreciate romance, and I feel romance can mean different things to different people. Like for me, romance, like when people say, "Oh, I want romance," it's like, um, "Hey, beautiful texts every morning," or
That's not
maybe
romantic.
because like I don't know, because some women I've heard they prefer that the guy call them and talk to them on the phone versus texting.
Yeah.
Text versus call, and then there's women who prefer like a flower every day or every week, or like that they go out every night, or they're
No.
traveling to all these like destinations, and I don't know, like there's different meanings. What does romance mean to you?
Well, so I don't mean romance like in the very beginning, because I think people are like, oh, flowers and this and that. But I think it was almost like I was meeting great people on paper, but it
Mm-hmm.
was almost like we spoke two different languages. And I felt a lot of apprehension on both sides, but a lot of the guys I met, I felt a lot of apprehension. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I really appreciate is someone who is brave, who is transparent, who is clear. And I don't feel like I was getting a lot of that. I don't think I was getting a lot of transparency. I think I got a lot of surface level. I got a lot of, um, like it was almost like there was a lack of consistency on who someone was at the beginning and then who they kind of turned out to be as we knew each other more, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Because anytime there was like any kind of like love bombing, that was already
Yeah.
like a sign for me to like, yeah, this isn't gonna work, you know.
Oh, okay, okay.
But it's hard for me to explain. It's almost like it's man, woman. On the outside, we are like great, and then when it came to like communication, when it came to consistency, when it came to clarity, that wasn't there.
Mm,
You know?
yeah.
Um, I won't say that they were only the ones to blame, because for me there I was dating multiple people at once,
Mm-hmm.
and to a point where it did like get overwhelming.
Okay.
At
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need my me time. Like I need
Mm-hmm.
to, where are my sisters? Where are my friends? Like I need to like go back to it, to not being consumed with what dating means today, where it's like you're always on your phone, you're always texting. I didn't feel like I ran into anyone that was, oh my gosh, it sounds so bad, but I don't mean it bad. But I just mean for me, that kind of stood out as like, yeah, this is something that we should keep doing. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, I met great people that, like, oh, that, that are great to text and like, hey, how are you? And da 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 da. But I always had to go back and go, okay, Elizabeth, what are you, remember what were you doing this for? What are you looking for? What is the goal
Yeah.
of this? Because you can kind of get caught into
Mm-hmm.
this thing where you're like, you're dating and you're finding that's fun, you're getting the outfit and you're dressing cute and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
these places, and this time you're not going alone, or this time it's with, but
Yeah.
I had to get back to the point where I was like, what is your goal with dating?
That's
Because I was
true.
kind of getting caught up in the, yeah, it feels great to be called beautiful and to feel validated and to feel kind of seen.
Mm-hmm.
But then as time went forward, it was like, oh, she's being seen, she's not being seen. Like this is being seen, this is not being seen.
Mm. Okay.
No one even got to the point where I was sharing my writing with them or my poetry. And when someone asked me in the beginning, I would just be like, oh, I'm not comfortable. But no one really got that far to know her.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? And that's what's really big to me, is like, my goal is to find someone and know their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Not just know like their favorite place to eat or their
Yeah.
favorite musical artist or their favorite color, or, to be seen somewhere with them.
Yeah.
Want to be seen here, and I want to see them. And I don't think it's everybody's job to do that. Not
Yeah.
everybody earns that. And I don't think I was really earning that either. And so
Mm.
so I was like, I need a break. Like,
Okay.
hey, and I always made sure I was very clear on like especially like the people that I felt like were really putting in effort, but it just wasn't really there, to be like clear and just be like, hey, this isn't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not gonna. And I wanted to make sure I got ghosted a lot. Like,
Yeah,
don't get
yeah. There's a lot of ghosting.
there's a lot. I got ghosted so much. I've got, guys saying hi 1 second and disappearing. But I also wanted to make sure that even with the people that were putting in effort, I was asking myself, do you see this person as someone that would be able to understand this here? And if I didn't feel that, then I would just say, you know what? Hey, you know what? I want to be upfront with you. I want to let you know,
Yeah.
that I don't think this is it, or maybe we
That's
can be
good
friends.
etiquette. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, I didn't do that. I ghosted a lot of people. Like,
No, seriously.
I mean, like, I think
If I
it's
ghosted you,
both
you deserved
sides.
it. If I ghosted you, you deserved it. You said something rude or mean. Like if you're blocked, it's because something rude or mean was said. So I'm not going to say that I didn't block people, but
Mm.
um, or like I didn't save anyone's number. So I didn't
Oh,
save
okay, okay.
anyone's number unless I felt like they were. So I don't really
Mm.
know. You know, I don't really. There are people that got blocked though because they were just
Yeah, yeah.
rude, overtly just over the top with a lot of stuff. But
Yeah, yeah.
no, I didn't block. I didn't ghost. Like that's not my thing. I'm just really clear. It's
Yeah.
it's the teacher in me.
Yeah, yeah,
I want
that's
to
nice.
understand the instructions. If I gave you instructions, you need to follow them. I,
Makes sense. Here, I'm gonna turn on the light because the sun is setting and
I know it's
the
dark here too.
I don't know how the lighting will be. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I think
not
it's
that bad.
good.
Cool, cool. Um, cool. Let's see. How? Let's see. You also mentioned um that it's important to be selective when you're dating. Um, I guess what did you mean by being selective? Like
Yeah.
when I hear that, I hear like having like knowing what you value
Mm-hmm.
instead of having like a superficial, at least for me, there was a time where I don't know, like I was more into looks um
Oh,
more than I guess like the character,
yeah.
and I got burnt. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Like that's usually what happens when we become superficial about those things, but
Yeah.
I had to be very clear about, okay, what do I actually value in a romantic relationship? Like what do I want? And then I actually posted scripture. Like I'm not religious, but I was like, love is kind, love is patient, it doesn't hold things against you
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, that makes sense for, like online dating. People need to be patient, they need to be kind in
Yeah.
order to, like pass whatever meter that I have. It's just the basic. Like without being kind, you're not gonna go forward. Um but yeah, what do you mean by like women needing to be selective and um or like talk more about like the double standards society has for women as far
Yeah.
as like if you show ambition, if you have a
Yeah.
good paying job, um then there's like sections of society that feel like, oh, you don't deserve a good marriage if you have a house. Like a husband is
Right.
not gonna find you, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't. So, what I don't want to do is, I don't want to say women should this. I think there's
Mm-hmm.
so much unsolicited advice
Mm.
that's like to everyone. And I don't think it's applicable to everyone. But
Yeah.
I do want to encourage that if you are someone who is selective, we are in an age where you are being, especially if you're a woman, you're being discouraged to be selective. And I think
Mm.
you being selective is a benefit to you, not a detriment. Um, it's going to make the dating process, um, it's good for you and it's good for the person that you're going to date or that you're
Mm.
dating for, you know, it makes sure that you don't waste your time or the other person's time being
Yeah.
selected, because you can waste a lot of time in this life. If you feel
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I just want to meet as many people as I can and go with the flow and have many stories to remember in the future," okay, that's fine. You know, do whatever it is that you like. I'm not going to chastise it. I'm not going to badmouth it.
Mhm.
But for me, I feel like I do wish I was a bit more selective, even though I was already selective. Like the dating process is, I dated a good amount of people, not as many people as a lot of people I know have dated. I've dated a good couple handfuls of people, I would
Mhm.
say. And I do wish that, no, well, I won't say I wish that I was more, yeah, I do. I do wish I was more selective, but I also don't regret it, because
Okay.
part of me was like, I want to give people a chance. I don't want to be selective in like a fearful way, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, what that does is I don't know why I'm losing my train of thought. Um,
Hmm.
um, I lost it. Hold on just a
Oh,
moment.
it's okay. It's okay. Let's see. We can talk about other topics too, as far as um.
No, I know what I was going to say about
Okay.
being selective, though. Being selective is not something that you should allow yourself to be talked out of. You're that way for a reason. You want to be able to marry someone, again, that shares the same values as you, that has the same moral standing as you. Um, when you mentioned about the double standard, so yes, there
Mhm.
is a double standard. There's this double standard that if a man says that he wants to be rich, he wants to be wealthy, he wants to be successful, he's seen as ambitious,
Mhm.
seen as a go-getter, he's seen as a big dreamer. We cheer him on, yay. Those same qualities, if a woman wants to be rich, if she wants to be successful, we see her as a gold digger, right? We see her as um, superficial, high maintenance. That's
Mhm.
not fair. Why is it not okay for a woman to want good for herself?
Yeah.
Right? When I think about my two younger sisters and I think about my older brother, I think about them the same.
Mhm.
Whatever they dream for their life, because I love them so much,
Mhm.
I say amen to it. I want to see their greatest desires fulfilled. There's no one on this planet that I'm like, because they're a this or because they're a that,
Mhm.
their dreams should not come true. And so that's so weird to me that ambitious women, there's this pulling down. But I also think it's very telling when people come out and say, you know, your education doesn't mean anything, you
Mhm.
owning a home doesn't mean anything, these are all good things. These are people who don't want good things for you, point blank and period. It's not up for debate. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right?
Yeah.
Like someone that's going to sit there and just be like, oh, yeah, you're going to be single and alone. Like, for singleness is not a bad thing. It's not something
Mhm.
that, you know, that we should be running from. Neither is
Mhm.
marriage and togetherness and love and romance. And that's a beautiful thing too. But
Mhm.
anyone that says that, first, no one really knows your story. No one knows your story. No one knows why you
Yeah.
felt like you needed to go to college, why you felt like you needed to buy that house. But I can tell you it's a good thing. And anyone that doesn't want a good thing for you,
Mhm.
it's, if you were to throw that house and that education away, they're not going to all of a sudden want a good thing for you. It's not good for, especially someone that you want to be your significant other. That's a very huge red blanket for
Mhm.
someone to say your degree, your accomplishments don't matter,
Mhm.
because that's what this life is. It's us striving, it's us thriving, it's us, you know,
Mhm.
wishing well for one another. That's what makes the world a better place.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's not a good thing for you to have that. That's a big problem. And they're saying you can only have what I feel is good for you. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's a form of oppression.
Mm-hmm.
That's oppression. That's someone who wants to oppress you. They
Yeah.
don't want to see you succeed. And
Mm-hmm.
some women, some are such people pleasers that they're
Mm-hmm.
giving it up. They
That's
don't,
true.
okay, well, I just want to be liked by the most vocal group.
Mm-hmm.
Vocal group, they're vocal for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, misery loves company. That's
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of fear on both sides, I would say, as far as the reason why society and men and also women too, they might want to discourage women and from pursuing different things
mm-hmm,
because they fear that those same women are not going to give them attention, money, uh,
mm-hmm,
affection and love.
mm-hmm,
And they'll just use it for themselves and be quote unquote selfish,
mm-hmm.
which is being seen as a negative word. But for me, I don't think it's a negative thing. It's just something that you need to be I feel like to live a good life, you have to be in a way selfish and like go for what you want instead of what society wants for you because there's all kinds of things that society wants for black women or
Yeah,
like for specific black women or whatever like for like me it might be different than what they want for you versus another person versus my mom or whatever. So in any case it's best to just like discover yourself. What do you want in life? And then whoever wants to join you in that journey can join you and
yeah,
make sure they don't like damper any of your dreams or like make sure they
right.
just support you and instead of being a block or like trying to put you in a box in a cage you
Yeah,
know so
you want a good circle of people around you.
yeah.
Supportive people, not yes people, supportive, because support
Hmm.
is when someone is supportive, they let you know when you're going the wrong way too.
Hmm, that's true.
Like if
Yeah.
someone's not supportive and they're seeing you go the wrong way and they're like, yeah, that's scary, right?
Yeah.
But then also you said, about being selfish. That's actually being selfless. When you go, I have to take care of me so I can show up better in the world. Because what does that
Hmm.
do for us? It makes the world well, and that's my opinion, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't believe that's selfishness. I actually believe when someone takes the time to know what kind of life they want to be able to provide before they can have children.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of husband would they like? What kind of father would they like him to be? What kind of mother would you like to be? Rather than
Hmm.
just rushing into it head first, that's more selfless because the
Yeah.
better that you show up in the world, that's a benefit to the world, not a deficit.
That's
A
true.
deficit to the world is if you're giving, 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 and we're just taking, taking, taking,
Hmm.
and no one's even correcting us on it. It makes us, more selfish, and it makes
Hmm.
you depleted and drained. What good is that in the world to have people that just take, take, take from good people? Or do we want people who know how to show up in the world and who know how to show up but also have boundaries, show up in love but also show up firmly, you know
Hmm.
and so that's the thing that it's a very selfless thing I think
Mm.
that you're doing when you choose to take care of yourself, when you choose to take your time, when you choose to not let we live in a big fear society, right? Fear of war, fear of
Yeah.
singleness, fear of aging, fear of
Hmm.
poverty, fear, and it's doing nothing for anyone. It's
Yeah.
doing absolutely no good in the world except just making a bunch of people who are afraid to move forward, afraid to love, afraid to age,
Hmm.
afraid to fail, afraid to like
Yeah.
it's very sad. And so it's like when it comes, I think I'm very big on like knowing yourself, discovering yourself, and having
Hmm.
this, yes, okay, let's be delusional. This delusional blind faith that everything is going to be is everything is going to turn out the way it's supposed to be. Everything is going to be good. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is what is it?
Afraid
Law of
I have
attraction.
to say this too. I'm so sorry to cut you off. Afraid to get your heart broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of things that I kind of encountered with dating too. There was a lot of
Mm.
this, like, who can care the least, you know?
Oh
And,
yeah.
yeah, and it's like, who? I mean, yeah, whoever cares the least wins, you know?
Yeah.
And I allow myself to feel sad. I allow myself to, mourn, maybe things that didn't work out. But then what that helps me do is it helps me, one, to not hate that person, to not see
Mm.
that that person is a terrible, feel like that person's a terrible person. It helps me to not put a wall up, and it's helped me to maintain this openness to love, because I don't want to be closed up when it comes my way. I want to be ready to give it and to receive it. You know.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it sounds like, or not sounds like, I know because I've done online dating, oh my gosh, for a few years before I met Sam. I don't know
Hmm.
exactly how many years, but because I took time off and then
Yeah,
joined back again because, like, I needed the downtime.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Hmm.
Yeah, like just like
A lot of
process
energy
it.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was never, well, not never. I did join events. I think it's called Events and Adventures,
Hmm.
right? Is it Events and Adventures?
It, I no, yes, events and adventures. I think that's where you are, but we don't have it here.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't have
yeah.
an account.
So they have Events and Adventures where you pay for to join this group. It's kind of like Meetup where they arrange different events for you, like
Hmm.
you go to art shows, comedy shows, um, different sports like frisbee and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone goes through background check.
Oh, nice.
So that's a big pro for that. But um, I joined that where you meet people in person. There's, I guess you can go to a bar or whatever. I don't think going to a bar is a good idea.
Yeah,
I
probably
really, yeah. But who knows? I really don't know where the what is it? What amounts to going to a bar is these days. I'm not really sure what that is. People can comment down below if you know what that is. Maybe for the younger generation is different.
not. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, online dating. Um, I encourage people to join and work on your triggers as they come because
Mm.
they say a lot about our psychology. I think more than how others treat us, I think it's, I don't know how to say it. It's like there's a lot of terms in therapy like inner child wound, daughter wound, and mother wound, all these things. Um, or like the body keeps the score, trauma, all that
Hmm.
stuff. People, like take that out with other folks when they interact with them. And maybe for online dating, if you're not meeting people in person, um, there can be people who um, have a different, like they would treat others like they wouldn't treat you if they met you in person, kind of thing. Like they might say things to you that they wouldn't say in person, all that stuff. So just like I would say just stick with it. I wouldn't recommend, what's the popular one? Um
The popular online dating,
yeah,
Tinder.
Tinder. Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend that. Because people get discouraged and they're like, no, no more online dating.
No, don't. I don't think I left because of discouragement. And I really think online dating is a great way to meet like, great people.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, I think I'm very peculiar in that way where I'm very like intuitive, and it just doesn't feel like right now is the time with that. Well, there's, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wouldn't be a great time to like try and do all that right now anyway. But I still recommend it. I still, I think different strokes for different folks, Am I saying that? Different strokes for different folks. Girl, I know. Yeah. So,
I've been meaning to ask you, people might be curious if you're open to not online, to interracial dating.
oh yeah, I did,
So, no. What are
Um,
your
I think one of my favorite people that I met, that I dated, was from Turkey.
mm,
He was a very sweet person, and like I'll always hold him dear. Very sweet person, very great guy, and I dated all kinds. I dated all kinds of people. Like I've always, since I was a kid, just been open to that. Like,
yeah.
I was never the person that was. There was a short time in my life, and
Mm,
I would say that from my early 20s. No, I would say like maybe 18, 19 to like late 20s, where I was like, I felt like I shouldn't be open to it anymore. I don't know. I even see like some of my cousins kind of going through it right now. I don't know if it's the early 20 things. You're starting to like discover yourself. You're starting to like, and then you're starting to rethink the things that you were taught. So I think there was like a short time that I had kind of like closed off to it and kind of felt like, no, I need to marry within. My not even just like my race, ethnicity, like a Nigerian Yoruba man. Like that's what it has to be. He can't be Igbo, he can't be Hausa, he can't be, and then
okay.
and then it opened again. It opened. I'm very proud of who I am and where I come from. But at the same time, this world is beautiful. God made us all beautiful. God made us all, you know, um, we're there's a lot going on right now with like beliefs about race and things like that. But I think your person is your person. Like I believe in soulmates. I believe do I believe like you have more than one soulmate, or do you have more than one soul? Not, I don't even want to say soulmate. It's just like kindred. Yeah, that's what I'll say. I believe in kindred spirits, right? And I mean like when it comes to friendships, when it comes to love, when it is there more than one person that I believe like, yeah, you could match with, but I believe that there's that kindred person. I do believe there's that one person that you're really meant to be with. Do I believe you always find that person?
Oh, that's sad.
I know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, no, I don't think you always find that. Not to discourage anyone, not to stop anyone from finding that, but because this is the thing that, regardless if you're kindred or not, it's going to take work.
Yeah.
And I think that idea of like that soulmate, that one person, takes away from wanting to do the work. Oh well, if he was my soulmate, then we wouldn't be arguing right now.
I
No,
know,
like
right? Yeah,
my
yeah,
me and my siblings, we're kindred. Like I'm telling you, we laugh, we have inside jokes, we have looks that we give each other. We fight all the time. I'm never like I'm done with this person. I wish them terrible, right? So it's gonna take that growing
yeah.
with that person. whether it's your kindred or whether it's someone you choose to be, part of your kindred, it's going to take the work, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if you have everything in common, because that's what I keep hearing. Oh, I need to have things in common with them. Um, you still need to communicate. How do you want to be treated, or um, what you see as romantic, like what you expect from them.
And I believe having stuff and things in common, that's surface level.
Mm.
I think values are what's
Mm.
important. What do you value? Like, how do you want your children to be raised? What do you want your children to believe? What do you want your family to stand for? That's important. I like
Mm-hmm.
butter on my popcorn. I hate popcorn. We don't have anything in common. It's over. Like get out of here.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the values, that's the big part. That the V
yeah,
value, because that's what's going to carry a family.
yeah,
Do you believe in? I believe that if we pray together, we'll stay together. And if we put the work in, well, I don't think so. I don't believe then that's probably not a match. But if it's
mm.
like the values are there, but I love football and I hate sports, like, look, I had a guy that was, oh, should I say that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
The guy that was like that. So there was a guy that I dated that um, I won't say that, but I will say that, let's just say that he was put off by the fact that I don't like, other than wrestling, WWE, I'm not into sports like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of used that as like oh, you're not into sports. I'm not, but I am glad
Oh.
that he used that as that, because again, we don't value the same things, right? That might be a value to him. For me, oh, that's surface level sports. Who gives an F? I'm
Yeah,
not going to sit there with you and watch football when I can be doing something else.
yeah.
And all the guys scatter. Okay, it's not the guy meant for me, but it's
Mm.
like, I'm not going to force you to come to the spa with me.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not going to force
exactly.
you to come to tea time with me. Like, I'm not. That's, for me, that's independence. You can have your own independent life.
Yeah, yeah.
When a marriage is the coming together, right, of two people, and I very much believe in marriage. It's two become one, but it doesn't mean like we don't go our own ways, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Power into, if we literally become one, it's almost like being one person, and we can't even like
Yeah.
conquer the world like we wanted to, right? But it's the coming together of values, the coming together of families. Two families become one family. Two
Yeah.
separate loves become one big love,
Yeah, yeah.
and so, but that was still a good thing that he was kind of like, oh, because I also kind of felt that he knew that I wasn't really there, but I think I was trying,
Mm.
putting more effort to kind of like try and get there.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was also a good thing, because I value someone that can have their own, that has their likes, and I can have my likes, and we
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to agree on
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
And he values someone that likes what he likes. So still, it's,
Mm.
you
Okay,
know,
okay.
he's not a bad person for it. He's a great guy for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, even me being like, that's silly, it's not a match, right?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for some people, it's a big deal, I guess. Um, but
I'm
yeah,
not a
like
sports
when you
person.
say the whole, like, when you get married, you don't have to do everything together. You don't have to be into everything. It That's the same with me and Sam. Is like we both like sci-fi,
Ooh, me too.
but I'm more into
I got
Star Trek.
middle. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Oh, what was that?
I said I got middle because you guys, because you said you guys like sci-fi. So I went, me too. I got middle.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm in the middle of you guys.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was a bad joke.
So I'm more into Star Trek than Star Wars, and I think he's more into Star Wars. But there are people who are very serious about those two franchises.
Yeah.
And maybe that's like a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah, that's true.
And then also another thing is when we first started dating, like he wanted me to be in his friends group. Like he wanted to hang out with his friends with me, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I have my own
Like just goes
friends.
around,
Like, yeah, but
but it
I
gets
mean, like,
old.
I met them, but I'm not going to play D&D with them like twice a week. I'm
Yeah.
not into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it still works out because I have my own interests. I'm a YouTube content creator. He's into Twitch or D&D, and then we come together to watch Star Trek together when they
Yeah.
come out with new series.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
And,
you don't have
and
to be
my
in
thing
certain
is that
things.
I have interests that may be deemed as boring to someone else, but they excite me. I like to write. I like to read poetry. I like to read books. I like to
Mm-hmm.
journal. I like to do very girly things. I like to do high tea. Like I
Mm-hmm.
like to be at the tea house and eat. I like to shop. I like spa days. I like to go walk by the beach. I like to, and I love like wine tasting. I love to be around good um, company, around women. I
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm a woman that gets along better with women. So I like to do
Okay.
girly stuff with my girlfriends. I like to do things where no guys are allowed
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, I would like him to have his own interest. If we have similar interests, that's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Values, and then to me, the icing on the cake is like, what are we interested in? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be reading and writing, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go here like playing basketballs or playing video games or doing anime or I like traveling, and
Mm-hmm.
there's different types of traveling I like to do. I like to do solo travel. I like to
Mm.
travel with my girlfriends or my sisters or my family. It's different types of travel.
Mm.
Sometimes I like to go out alone. I do. Like I want, some that where I can just go out alone, where I could just go. Like sometimes I like to go watch a matinee at the movie and just sit by myself and just laugh as loud as I want and
Mm.
just, you
Yeah.
know, so it's okay. In my opinion, it's okay to have different interests.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what independence is.
That's
Independence
true.
is knowing who you are, and you're always going to be learning who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel like I'm ready for a serious relationship. I'm ready, to get married. In the meantime, I am enjoying discovering more about myself and what I
Yeah.
like, and I hope it didn't seem like I was just like bad mouthing dating,
Mm-hmm.
or online dating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it. Would I do it again? Yeah, eventually. I think at this time there's like just too much going on,
Yeah.
but I would say don't give up. Do it. It's a good thing to take a break. Even in real life, like it's a good thing to take a break.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
so
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. So you're okay with like online dating and interracial dating?
I love it. I love it. I love online dating. I love interracial dating.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
so
no,
I was
I love
wondering.
the concept of online dating. I love interracial dating. I love learning about different cultures. I do.
What
I love
are
racial dating. That's fine too. Like I'm not, but I think, especially as a Black woman, I think
mhm.
let's do it more. There's a lot to learn that you can learn from different cultures of people. You
Yeah.
never know. Your guy might be your Prince Charming might be, because I do believe in a Prince Charming. Prince Charming is not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Might not come in on a night, but that's just think about your closest friendships that you have, your
Mm,
closest like kindred that you have. Don't hold the man that you're going to marry to this standard, and
yeah.
the closest people around you,
Mm-hmm.
that you're always forgiving, that it's going to be like that. It's like you're welcoming another addition to that, right, into your world.
Mm-hmm.
So like I do believe that, your Prince Charming, my Prince Charming, I don't know what race he is, you know what I mean? But I'm definitely open to him being, you know, from anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world, I think I'll know he's my kindred by his character, by our values,
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not just what we have in common or how well a conversation flows, because
Yeah.
it's not always going to be like that. There's going to be disagreement. Can we agree to disagree?
Mm-hmm.
Does he value womanhood?
Mm-hmm.
I value men. I value manhood. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But and then I think also something that's very important character wise is like, I want who you are. I don't like, I'm not someone who is like, okay, you are one way with me, but you're another way with other people. Someone who's a genuinely kind,
Mm-hmm.
someone who's a genuinely kind person to everyone.
Yeah.
Not just because he likes me,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not gonna always like me.
Mm-hmm.
That fades, sometimes. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, when that person decides that they don't like you anymore, or you're just like everyone else in their head, are you still worthy of good treatment? Does that like make sense?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
still
yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
or, you know, it's not a, a compliment to me that, oh, I'm nice to you because I like you, but I treat everyone else like crap. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
like then it's I'm on eggshells until you're ready
Yeah.
to treat me like crap.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's something that I would recommend valuing.
Yeah. So I was curious about like if there has been different things you've noticed dating different races of men.
Mhm. Ooh, I will say I
Mm-hmm.
have recognized something as a red flag for dating. Anyone who has to tell you that they only date you. Like anyone that has I've dated a lot of people who quite a few people who would let me know that oh, I only date black women. Because my
Like they're
question
not
is
a black man, but or
like,
they are
no,
black
both.
men. Like both.
Black
Okay.
men and non-black men.
Okay.
And there's kind of this underlying theme that I kind of notice where it kind of goes, well, what is it that you think you're getting from excluding every other race of person? What is it that you think you're getting from making it to my knowledge, come to my knowledge? That's none of my
Mm-hmm.
business who you date. It's
Mm-hmm.
me and you right now. I don't need to know that you were with this. So I did notice that, but I did notice that with all, and I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that when it was someone like that that had to make mention that I love black women. I only date black women. It was almost like, oh, they
Mm-hmm.
were almost like the same person. It was weird. It was
Interesting.
a weird thing. It was in like almost like I wasn't treated special. Like I was this special, I was treated almost like, yeah, this is what black girls like. This is what black girls accept. So, and then the guys that were like, oh yeah, well, that never even mentioned to me. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know that they never really made it a thing to let me know that like, you know,
Mm,
oh, I only date black women or I love black women or da 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 da. They just treated me like a normal person.
yeah.
They were holding doors open and they were sweet and
Mm,
courteous and they were gentlemen, and um, that was the biggest difference that I noticed. Someone who was making it known, like I only date people. I think they wanted me to be flattered by it. And I always made sure to keep my eyes
mm.
open when they said that. And it was almost like they were all the exact same person. It didn't matter color. It didn't matter. Yeah.
Do you feel like they if you were another black woman that you'd be flattered by it? Like, do you
I,
feel like they
I don't
know
know.
that a lot of black women like that?
I think they wanted me to be flattered by it. That's
And
the
that
energy
other
I got.
black women are flattered.
Like,
Yeah.
only that's right, And that's how I saw it. I was like,
You're like,
okay,
why?
came up in conversation, like, I wouldn't mind if it was like it, because it would come up in conversation sometimes, like, oh, okay, so like, what was your ex like? Or like, yeah, have you dated
Okay, yeah.
before? And da, da, da. Oh yeah, I've dated here and there, and da, 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 da. Or if it was never even necessary for it to come up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it was better. But when it was like an adamant, like, that's all I only, it was almost a scare of like, well, I would just be like, why?
Yeah,
Is
because
Do we
you
let
had
you get away
mentioned to
more?
me,
Yeah.
you had mentioned to me how when men mention that they only date black women,
Hmm.
that they expect you to
Be more
hold on
aggressive,
to them or
not let them
forgive
go.
all their faults, or just like, oh, okay, finally I've found someone who only dates black women,
Yes,
you know.
finally. Oh, yay. And it was just like, no, I don't want anything that's not for me, but I did find that I found that it would be guys that would be like, like, it would, I was confronted sometimes, like, oh, you're not even going to ask where I was, or,
Mm,
it's like, it was always like those guys. And it was like, well, I'm not playing a game. Like, I'm here
yeah.
for my guy, but I'm not. It was almost, I felt like they expected me to be more aggressive, to hold on to them more, to make
Hmm.
the first move. And I'm very traditional. Like, um, I was, raised with both of my parents in the household,
Hmm.
both my, and not that that's not even always, a telltale sign of anything really, but, I would say that I was trained up well by my parents,
Hmm.
and that, and especially my mom, it's like, my mom is always like, what's for you is for you, and
Yeah.
what's not for you is not for you. But I always felt that there was this sort of, a black woman is going to be more aggressive, or she's going to be more sexually
Mm,
aggressive, or she's going to be more, she's going to go for what she wants. But and it's true, I am going to go for what I want. But when
yeah.
it comes to relationships, I do like the more traditional approach.
Okay.
I want the guy that knows what he wants, that knows very clearly what he wants. And I've met that. I meet that more in real life,
Hmm.
but I've met that more in real life lately. But it's still, I think I'm also burned out, so I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like,
Makes
not right
sense.
now, and then I'm kind of like, this transition in my life is really taking a lot of
Yeah.
time as well, or they just, weren't my type, and so it's just like, no, I'm sorry.
Because what I'm hearing from what you're saying is, um, online dating tends to encourage people relying on stereotypes and what people believe as far as stereotypically about black women is that we're aggressive and
Mm-hmm.
speak up for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even in that act of speaking up for ourselves are better communicators than other races of women.
I mean, for me, you're not gonna get even past the app if you dehumanize me. So like, chocolate, ooh, beautiful chocolate, ooh, sexy chocolate, ooh, ooh, da da da, black,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, black, da da da. I never been with a, you
Mm,
get something like that,
yeah.
you're not gonna, and I'm not just saying it's because I'm black, because I'm sure they're dehumanizing other women too, just with like sexy, ooh, la la, ooh, sexy, or whatever, weird.
Yeah, yeah,
Weird windows and weird messages and things like that they send. They won't get past that. But I do think that's where you get a lot of these people. They see your picture and they expect you to be, you
yeah.
know, I'm a dork, I'm a nerd, I'm a,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
that's what I am, and you're putting a little bio on there. You're telling a little bit about yourself, but the way it's really going to work is if someone wants to know the whole story. you know? And so that's the thing. There's a lot of people on there that don't necessarily want to know the whole story. They kind of just like the picture and that little bio is enough, and they're
Yeah.
going to take that and run with that. And so you have to decide, like, is that okay for you? Is that enough for you?
Yeah.
You know?
I guess it depends on the person, but for me, it's not enough. Like,
Yeah, same.
but yeah, depends
Yeah.
on the person. Um, I guess when it comes to, let's see, I don't know if I've asked everything when it comes to the whole different races of men and how they treat you and experiences. Let's see. Mm,
Yes. I
hmm.
did run into a lot of people who thought here's another thing, who automatically assumed I believed a certain way, right? I
Hmm.
was, um, I won't go into it, but like politically,
Mm, okay.
uh, a lot of people who were just like, like the stereotypes, right? Like the whole, like, what do you think about, BLM? What do you think about this? What do you think about?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so people kind of immediately were like,
Mm.
you think this way, don't you? And it's like, no,
Mm.
no, oh, you heard about this, didn't you? You heard about what's going on with this, didn't you? And I'm like, no, I didn't. Or if I tell someone I'm Nigerian,
Mm.
they're like, oh, I love Wizkid. Yeah, I know who
Wizkid?
Wizkid is. I know.
Is he Nigerian?
Yeah, he's a Nigerian, like one of our Nigeria's like biggest stars, Wizkid, Burner Boy, or something like that. They're like, "Oh, I love Wizkid. Oh, I love," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool."
Okay.
I also like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion, and I
Mm.
also like, so like they'll try to relate to you based on a fact
Yeah.
that, but what if I'm Nigerian, but I'm just not that knowledgeable on the music scene, or that
Mm-hmm.
does that make me any less Nigerian? It doesn't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, it's, it would be offensive if, like, someone's like, oh, because you're a black woman, like, I love Tupac. Like,
Mm. Yeah.
no.
That must be annoying.
Yeah, so
Cause
there was a lot of
yeah.
that. There was a lot
Mm.
of that. And usually when it's like that, it's like, there was a lot of being called strong.
Mm.
You don't know me. One, two, I think we're all strong. And three, I don't love the narrative of black women being strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a given. You can recognize it in, but almost when you try to like put it on top of my head that I'm strong. So one thing that I always say is that how do you treat something when you know it's strong? You know it's durable. This bottle, I'm in a hurry. I need to use the restroom. I'm dropping it on the floor. It's not gonna break, right?
Yeah.
It's strong, it's durable. And but if I have a glass,
Mm-hmm.
a crystal glass in my hand, and I got to use the restroom, I'm still going to make sure there are no excuses. I'm going to place that glass down gently,
Yeah.
and I'm going to make sure it's there set gently first, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go do what I have to do, right? Or I'm going to leave it somewhere where I know it's safe. And I feel like sometimes when we're talked about as strong,
Mm-hmm.
it's in a place where it's like we have to be durable. We have to endure. You can toss them. You can treat them however you want. They'll bounce back. So people are not necessarily approaching you with that delicacy. People are not necessarily looking out for your feelings because you're strong. So I can treat you however I want, and I know you'll get over it. You get
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And so we are strong, and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, but we're strong because for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not strong for you. We're not here for you to abuse. We're not here for you to oppress. We're not here for you to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're just like every other woman
Mm-hmm.
that God put us here as the icing on the cake that should already be strong and sturdy.
Mm.
Shouldn't be, we're supposed to, I feel we're the icing on the cake,
Yeah.
not necessarily the cake, right? But
Mm.
we're what makes the cake taste so good. We're
Yeah.
what we're what makes families so loving, and so
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
um,
The
but
icing is the decoration. Like you can
yeah,
make
but
flowers out of
it
it.
still serves a purpose. It makes it sweet. It makes it beautiful. It makes it tasty. It makes it
Mm-hmm.
fun. No,
Yeah.
have you ever seen anyone at a wedding like put a pound cake on someone's face and they laugh and there's no the ice. There's so many things that icing brings, you know,
Mm.
and so that's what I think about womanhood. We are very necessary. We serve a purpose that helps make the world beautiful, but we also serve a purpose for ourselves. And I
Mm.
think we're in a very, there goes the cat again. Oh God. So she's up there like she's asleep. But matter of fact, okay, I'll figure that out later. But um uh yeah, so that's what I think about womanhood, and I think manhood, there is no cake without men.
Mm.
They don't that doesn't make them more valuable just because they are the cake, right?
Mm.
It's like
Yeah.
that's what I think. That's how I interpret it. Like I'm not trying to say don't walk around, you don't have to walk around being like that's, from now on that's what I say.
I'm the icing.
That's what I believe. Like, I don't want to force my opinion on anyone, but I think men and women make this life beautiful. Men and
Mm.
women make this life worth living. Men and women can be headaches.
Mm-hmm.
Men and women can be, but I do notice that there is this huge attack on womanhood and the power that it holds, right?
Mm.
We are very responsible and resourceful, and because we have to be, because we carry the womb, because we are in a more vulnerable position than
Mm-hmm.
men. And I mean, take it for how you want to take it, but that's just how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
We are both valuable. That the world wouldn't be the same without both of us here.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I got to that because we were talking about like the stereotypes.
Oh, being strong, being
Being
labeled with the word strong.
that trope of being strong, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, it would be great to not have to be all the time. And I think we're in
Yeah.
a time where women really have to be, and we really have to stand strong in what it is that we believe. We really need to go out there and know who we are, because knowing who you are, and then you got to learn who you are all over again in a relationship, you know?
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
that's another thing that can be very difficult. So yeah, but the strong trope,
Yeah.
oh, because I feel like it's misused. We're
Mm.
all strong. We're all strong. When there's an
Yeah.
emphasis on one group being something,
Mm.
it's dangerous.
That's true. It's kind of like when celebrities or politicians are put on a pedestal. You know that society's only like pushing them up there on like
Hmm.
a cliff, so that if they don't like a single thing about you, they'll
Hmm.
just like pull you down, and
Yeah.
then you'll come tumbling down. And I
Hmm.
feel that's what society, like, they label black women as like, you're strong, so just be quiet, don't complain, you
Hmm.
should be able to handle everything.
Yeah.
And then there are black women who want to be considered strong, because for
Hmm.
them that's like a great label to have,
Yeah.
and then that's also used against them
Yeah.
to be like, okay, well, you're special, you're a black woman, you're strong, so you should
Yeah.
be able to handle anything, right? And
Yeah.
then
And I think
it
it
leads
irks
to
me because
disease.
yeah, I think it irks me because I'm like, I don't need that reminder. But
Hmm.
to those that it doesn't bother, some of them do need that reminder that they're strong. Oh, yeah, I'm strong. I got this. For me, I'm like, I
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah,
then
yeah. Because I feel that's also another like topic that I think these days we're starting to uncover the whole like strong label because it has covered the wounds that have been inflicted on black women
Mm-hmm.
by, you know, the greater society, by the black community, by black men, by other black women. Um like wounds that lead to hormonal disorders, to
Mm-hmm.
like high rates of maternal mortality rates. I feel that that comes from the stress of being a black woman in the West, or
Mm-hmm.
even in like African countries, because it's also stressful being a woman in different African countries. But in general, like I'm enjoying the whole movement of like the soft life and channels popping up about how corporate doesn't treat black women right, you know.
Yeah.
There's this thing called the glass room. That's a very new term, if you've heard of it. It's like they put you in a glass box so you
Mm.
can't move up, like you
Mm.
can't be promoted, but you also can't move, is this lateral or vertical? Like you can't
Laterally
move to
or horizontal.
another department or like seek to be in a different role. Like, and you're always being watched because all the walls, the ceiling, they're very transparent, so everyone's observing, okay, is she going to make a mistake? Is she going to snap? And
Mm.
then yeah, so I've had experiences with that
Oh, me
myself,
too. Me too.
and like it puts you in a position where you're like, okay, what's the point? Like, I know I'm getting money and it provides stability, but at the same time, the stress just like corrodes your physical self. Like your cells deteriorate, different things happen in your body, emergencies happen,
Mm-hmm.
and the workplace is to blame, but you can't really be like, oh, it's your fault, so now promote me or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a double bind. It's a label that's very powerful. It's a double-edged sword that we need to really think about, like as far as like taking it on as a label. It should be an option. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can be strong in different versions of, you can be strong at work, you can be soft at, you know, in the home, you can be
Yeah.
strong in the morning versus at night, you can be
Yeah.
weak. Right? You don't
Yeah.
have to be strong constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just afford us that same grace that you would any other woman.
Yeah.
We need it too. We're women as well. We enjoy softness. We enjoy, but I think Black women have been great at showing how resilient and strong women can be in general because
Mm, yeah.
we've put in that position. And so okay, well, we know that if they had to have it, they could, but that's not what's happening. It's oh, they got it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got it. I don't need to, and that's the unfortunate part about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are like women of different races are envious or jealous of black women as far as like, because they also believe in the stereotype that we're strong, we can do anything, and they want to be also strong
Hmm.
and stand up to, you know, their men,
Yeah.
society, all that stuff. They want to be able to like speak up for themselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's, there's benefits, there's pros and cons to everything. um but let's see, we've come up to an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We can so initially after the 5 minute mark,
Okay.
um the audio was not recording our
Okay.
intro.
Hmm.
So we can talk about how can people get in touch with you?
Okay. So my Instagram is elizabeth.your.realtor on Instagram. I
Okay.
also have one for my poetry, which is poetic_rehabilitation. Bear with me on that one. It is under construction. I'm working on that one. I'm in transition to with this new career, but
Mhm.
I'm working on getting, that out there as well. And then
So
if you
what's
follow me on
poetic
Facebook as
rehab? What's poetic rehab?
well. Oh, what is it? Oh, we didn't talk
Yeah.
about it. Should we talk about it on this?
Sure,
Okay.
yeah. I don't mind.
Poetic rehab is short for poetic rehabilitation.
Mhm.
And what it is my vision with that is to bring the love of literature and reading and the love of the word art out. So I always say, instead of words being hidden on in books on shelves, just like
Mhm.
the art that you would see like behind me, they should be on walls as well. And so
Mm.
my vision with Poetic Rehab is for it to really inspire romance again through poetry, through encouraging like love letters and working on postcards. It's really just to establish this. The idea is that the world is filled with beauty and beautiful stories to tell. And so
Mhm.
I want to share those stories. Instead of having those stories hidden within us, we should share them. The beautiful
Mhm.
things in life, that this life is, as much as it can be a dark place, it can also be a very beautiful place.
Mhm.
So it's a very romance, like there's a lot of romance is like kind of like the foundation of it, but just romance and beauty and heartfeltness, like bringing
Mm.
that. And so it's me kind of working on that to get that out at this time.
Mhm.
I work on it with my two younger sisters,
Okay.
Victoria and Gloria as well. So but it's taking a little bit of time to kind of like really
Mm.
out there. So just, I say bear with me on that. But I have an Etsy store. You could just put poetic rehabilitation on Etsy, and you can buy, original poetry prints, postcards at this time.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll link your Instagram and Etsy store down in the description.
Okay.
And
To learn more about the current housing market, you
mm,
know, and if you want to know if owning a home is possible for you as a Southern California resident, get in contact with me as well.
perfect. So
Okay.
people can just message you on Instagram.
Yeah, you can DM me on Instagram at elizabeth.your.realtor,
Okay.
and then we can kind of discuss, I can exchange my information there.
Okay. Perfect. Nice. Um Thanks for the interview. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and
Cool.
thanks to the audience for sticking around till the end um of the long interview. Um yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.